August already?
And so begins our final piece of Starving Artist Summer. This is a pretty unique challenge. I'm trying to finish one last piece, one last major drawing before I move out of my college house and go off to my full-time job. I'm treating this piece as essentially a twin to my previous drawing, or a set meant to be part of this kind of strength series of pieces. And we're going through the entire process like I normally do, starting out with thumbnails, sketches, anatomy studies, gesture studies, design studies. I feel like you can never do enough of it. There's always some sort of problem that can be solved beforehand, some sort of design that can be worked out before you start on the original or on the final piece. But eventually, you're gonna have to take that leap of bravery and just get started. So that's what I did. In terms of specifically what this piece is a depiction of Milo of Croton, famous for being very, very strong, from the island of Croton, as the name suggests. He was an ancient Greek athlete, and I find this character, this figure, to be extremely interesting. And I won't get too into the details of the mythos and rich history behind this figure, but I find him to be very interesting. So I'm depicting the final moments before he carries a bull up a mountain, which is not very common. Most of the depictions of him have always been of his downfall. But I wanted to go a very different direction than a lot of other artists have historically. And one interesting detail about specifically the composition that I went with, that I'd like to point out, is something, it's a very bold choice that I went with, and that was the bull. I decided not to make the bull part of the background. I wanted the bull to be a central figure to the character of Milo himself. And that's because The bull, specifically Milo in the bull, has a very interesting connection to the science of strength and getting stronger. And I wanted to make the bull a character that invites the viewer into the scene, in the same way that the Soviet Union viewed the barbell during its reign in Olympic weightlifting during the Olympics. The Soviets had this kind of cultural attitude about the gym and the barbell being your training partner and something that deserves respect. And so I've kind of blended the kind of historical type of, or I should say, the mythological portion of his story, and I blended it with the scientific and kind of cultural significance of his story. I find it to be a really beautiful thing. As someone who enjoys the gym and enjoys training with the barbell, there's something about this story that resonates with me. One thing that's also quite different and something that I struggled with on this piece was the gesture. And here's another thing about gesture. I feel like you can never add enough gesture to your figure, especially for a piece of this magnitude that demands a certain amount of realism and accuracy and plausibility. I feel like I'm still learning to add enough gesture. Gesture is just one of those things that takes 5 seconds to describe and define, but honestly takes a lifetime to learn and master. I probably could have spent more time on capturing the gesture, but because we're on a bit of a time crunch, I wanted to be more productive with my time, or I decided that I wanted to essentially just finish the piece, and just kind of get it done and put something out there. Because again, this is still just part of my art education journey, and it doesn't require, it doesn't require my perfection, and I really run away from being a perfectionist because it just cripples people. You can see now I've pretty much removed all of the secondary non-essential things from my area over here. Just a few boxes and my little easel and materials in this one corner, just hacking away at night. One other thing is that it's really difficult to force yourself to work at a faster pace, and force yourself to gain more stamina and more just, you know, endurance to do these long pieces day in and day out. It's kind of like strength training. You can't force yourself to be stronger. You just kind of need to put in the work and allow those gains come to you.
Well, I ran. It was time. It's time for me to pack up this little station here, whatever's left of my studio, and I think this video will have to be a part 2. Stay tuned.
And just like that, it's time for me to pack up, save my work, make sure it's protected, and move. I still have a couple more weeks left to finish up this piece, set up a new studio. So like I said earlier, stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching.